It's because, guys in our position, we've taught it before, and we've taught it to all different types of body types.
Hmm.
Ages, gender, stuff like that. And things are going to change. You have a room full of 25 people. Half of those people are probably going to have to do things a little different. You know what I mean? And that is the hardest part about being a coach.
Yeah.
Is being able to take the technique that built the way that you're built at the age that you're at, and the capabilities that you have, to be able to transfer that to somebody who's not built like you.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Who's not built like you at all. And it just takes time. It takes effort. It takes you to pay attention to that person and seeing what their capabilities are, their abilities are, and what their limitations are.
Hmm.
If they can't do something, it doesn't mean they can't do the technique. They just can't do it the way that you do.
Yeah.
So now it's your job to get in there and start finding out, okay, what other ways can you do this?
Yeah.
A guy who's 300 pounds may not be able to invert very well.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean they can't play lasso.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they can't grab a leg a certain way. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means they can't do it in that fashion.
Hmm.
So it's your job to help them find a way for them to still be able to accomplish your technique.
Yeah. And I love that because I always fucking say, I got little arms, I got little legs or whatever, right? And you're like, all right, well then you just do this. And I'm like, huh, okay. Because I've always shied away from certain things because I felt like I couldn't do them. It's like, yeah, it might be a little harder, but if you get to a certain point so you can get to this, then you could do this to get to that. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like your triangle, if you just go a little bit this way and you push yourself in this and do that, oh, that makes sense now. And I would have never known that.
And just because you can't do a certain technique, it may be the partner you're working with compared to what your abilities are, it also doesn't mean that you shouldn't know it. Just because you can't do it doesn't mean you can't teach it. There's a lot of coaches that are on the sidelines that don't compete, or they've never competed, but they teach competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they don't actually do it or they can't, for whatever reason it may be, doesn't mean they can't teach it, pass it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So that's also important too. So triangles may not be in your top, 5, 3, 10% of attacks, but if you have the knowledge, you could potentially help somebody else be a triangle monster.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the knowledge is something that can't be taken away. Abilities are going to change. They're going to change due to weight. They're going to change due to injuries. They're going to change due to your body changes. You get these teenagers who are studs when they're teenagers and then become adults.
Mm-hmm.
And things happen. They pick a job. They go to school. Their abilities are not the same.
Yes.
My abilities as a football player in high school are not the same as a grappler as an adult.
Yeah.
There's certain things I can't do that I used to be able to do. So, but this is always going to be this, you know what I mean? And you can always build on that no matter what your physical capabilities.
Yeah. I've always found that really interesting that and you said like whatever works for your game is that you start building your game but that I like that you said that point to where just because you don't do it doesn't mean you don't know how to teach it or defend against it.
Yeah.
And that comes with it too. And like I might not do triangles, but I know how to stop a triangle if it's coming at me, kind of thing. A lot of people might like when we had that seminar with Kamoy, I was like, I've never fucking done the truck because I always feel like my legs were too short or whatever. But the way he taught it and the simplicity of it, I was like, huh, that's there and it's been there. And just because I blocked it, you know what I mean? Like this time around, I've been more like open to like listening and like it might not be part of my game, but if I know it's there, like that one of the sneaky one, like off the backside, I was like, I don't know how many times I'm in a position where I'm with a better, I'm the better person. And maybe I could do that for trying.
Yeah.
And I never tried it because I've just like, I'm not going to use that.
And this is the place to try things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? This is the place to try things. You're in a classroom setting. You're in a training setting. You're with a training partner.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you try the stuff that maybe you don't think is meant for you or works for you. And even when you try it, this is where you get to find, this is where being a student this is where your job of being a student is. Not you personally, but just students in general. Play with stuff.
Yeah.
Because you will discover things on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And those develop questions.